Notice, in accordance with the new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth the Raven is intended for ages 16 and up. While some of the content we will feature is kid-friendly, the context of the episode is to address adults to inform them of said content within the research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. Welcome, welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer, illustrator, and editor of comics, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And it is July 7th. It is a What Did You Get This Week Wednesday. And I'm wearing a shirt from one of the books that we'll be reviewing shortly that I got with a Kickstarter plan. I got two shirts. I'll show you that one as well as part of our reviews shortly. And it's been kind of a crazy day. I went and got some books from my local comic shop, and I also got a trade from the local library. And I've also got some videos from the library that are going to be what we're discussing on Friday, probably. So, without further ado, let's get into the reviews. We're going to start with Blood Force Trauma number 3, as soon as I can get this screen shared. There we go. I paid $10 through Kickstarter for it. Publisher is Dead Gremlin Comics. As you can see, my copy was signed by the writer and illustrator Jake Smith. It's co-written by Jake and Hiram Corbett. Colors are by Jake Smith with flats by Michael Angelo Arbon. The genre is science fiction, action, adventure, and it was released June 25th or thereabouts, 2021. What it's about. New Blood Force Trauma champion Zap Daniels, that's the guy who's getting choked out on the cover there with the noob on his helmet, has to train to fight against the demonic lucha libre fighter Hell Prince Venganza. Only Zap has learned a few new tricks from his new mentor, Lightning Legs Jones, and even thought of a new means to help his own cause by rewiring his helmet to figure out his opponent's moves and how to counter them. His helmet used to just give you kind of like stats on the guys, like a baseball card stats, but now he has like predictive skills through the helmet and can defend himself somewhat. But will that be enough against a demon lucha libre fighter who can summon demonic minions from another dimension to fight his battles for him? What I thought was, I'm really mad that the publisher who had originally picked up the series to be solicited and carried through Diamond and mainstream distribution dropped it and canceled it before they ever got the book out. They had solicited the book, and then they canceled it the week that the book was supposed to ship for some reason. And Jake has never told me the details of it, but it's the fact is it forced Jake and Hiram to go back to crowdfunding, and that's really a shame. My second thought is, why the hell can't another publisher do something smart for once and pick this title up and get it in stores where it belongs so that we can have it at a quote-unquote normal price? Not that I'm complaining about $10. That's kind of standard these days for Kickstarter, but there's just so much great Kickstarter Indiegogo content out there that really should be in comic shops at the $3.99 to $4.99 price point, and would be if people would actually start paying attention to this kind of content. Third thought, and perhaps most importantly, love this book. If Jake and Hiram can get a couple more issues out this year, thumbs up, fingers crossed, it will probably rank as a top 5 series for the year. Well-paced, everything makes sense. He even leaves you on a cliffhanger ending wanting to know what happens next. Recommended for ages 13 up. I give it 4.5 stars. And here's some of the artwork for it. And of course, one of the things I love about this artwork is the amazing color work that Jake does. This incredible neon type coloring is just amazing. Zap is paying someone for equipment to help him upgrade his helmet. And of course, she knows that he's the new blood force trauma champion. She's like, hey, be careful out there. That guy you're up against is ruthless. He's going to kill you. And of course, he's got his helmet upgraded, and you can see danger incoming and attack it with damage of 89% is coming at 45-degree angle, and this is what you do, for your, dodge and stuff, and he can avoid the attack from lightning like Jones there, which is like impossible as far as he's concerned. And then he got a new power as well, and he's like, oh, that's kind of cool, that's neat, man. Hope you can keep that up. But it's really cool stuff and enjoyable comic. Our next book, real quick, is Heavy Metal number 307 for $13.99. Publishers Heavy Metal Media LLC. Various writers and artists. Genre science fantasy fiction anthology. Released June 30th, 2021. It's another solid collection of chapters of multiple stories by multiple creative teams. And unfortunately, I just don't have time to discuss each individual one and tell you the goods and positives on both. There are 9 comics features in the issue and an interview. And has been typical of late with Heavy Metal, I have been generally pleased with the story selections, even if I get somewhat annoyed when a story is not continued between one issue and the next. There's a couple of stories that were in last issue that aren't in this issue. And, well, I don't know what the reason for that is. I don't know what their scheduling hangups are. But it is what it is. Anyway, recommended for mature readers, 17 plus. Readership rating 4 out of 5 stars. And we'll just move on to the next one, which is the book that I got the shirt from, and that is Torch Reclaim the Skies #1. A.J. Rohack is the publisher and writer. Artist is Tom Hoskisson. Colors is Daniela Barrason with an E. Reason I says, or is it Barrason, I'll explain in a minute. Cover is by Red Verrill. It was released June 25th, 2021, thereabouts. Again, this is one of those $10 books that you got through Kickstarter. And what it's about is Torch Armstrong is a retired fighter pilot, even though she is only in her late teens or early 20s at the most. She was a child prodigy and is, to some, a war hero. Only she's become bored with civilian life because she's kind of an adrenaline junkie and just enjoyed being a fighter pilot. And it's causing her to get in trouble with the law, so much so that she may have to call in favors to the military or try to get back into active service. Only what she doesn't know is that in some circles, the very actions that made her a war hero actually could be used against her to be tried as a war criminal. What I thought. It's a very well told, fairly well told first issue. Rohack plays the story both in present and in flashback as Torch remembers her past as a JAG pilot. It doesn't go into all that heavy of detail as to her past. I would presume that's because he's going to, dole it out as the story progresses. Because that's obviously what is part of what's going to drive the story forward, moving forward. But the issue does give us enough to know that she misses being in the military and that she can't stand civilian life as it seems boring to her. Hoskinson's art is very nice. The coloring is strong. It's a fine start for things. Again, I got this via Kickstarter, so the price was $10 for the issue. And again, I don't have a problem paying that for the book. Rohack went to great lengths on the production to make it worth that price. The cover is a very thick cardstock. The interior pages are a thicker quality print paper. So, you're actually paying for, if this was done as a regular comic in the diamond market, it would probably go $5.99 just because of the print production on this book being that high end. So paying $10 with the shipping and all the other stuff, I had no problem with that. But at the same time, this is one of those regular titles that I wish we could see in more comic shops at a more regular price. Again, this is not AJ Roeck's fault. It just speaks to the problems we have between getting books in the public market versus having the crowdfund. Recommended for ages 13 and up. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Let's take a look at some of the artwork. Torches resting by a campfire, and her sidekick, engineer buddy, whose birthday, life cycle, whatever it is, wants to go into the city and have some fun, so she takes him in. And you see the shirt that she's wearing, that Jag shirt design. That is the shirt I am wearing. Let me step back or sit back a little bit. As you can see, I'm wearing that design shirt. And the other shirt is a black shirt that has the Torch Reclaim the Skies title logo on it. And that was very cool. I also got some additional swag with it. I got a trading card with Torch Armstrong on it, with a little bit of background information on there as well. Basically a member of the revered D Squad. Torch Armstrong is the only star pilot to ever reach O rank, that's Omega rank, in the military, all before her 11th cycle day. That's her 11th birthday. Her ability to withstand the immense G-forces of dogfighting combat, paired with her confidence in her abilities, makes her arguably one of the best pilots in the galaxy. Very cool. Sticker. It's I support indie comics, Torch. Another one, Punch Today in the Face. This is one of the scenes where she's getting in a bar fight. Another kind of cool sticker. And then we got these double-sided prints that were like on there. Again, you see how glossy and nice and thick this is. This is not flimsy stuff, but it's double-sided. Very high gloss UV coating, and that's very much what the pages are and the cover is like too. Here's another one. That same image from the cover, just enlarged. And then another. There you go. Trying to make sure the UV reflection isn't too bad on the camera there, but oh well, best I could do. Anyway, I'm also supposed to get a poster that accidentally didn't get sent to me. That's to do with BackerKit. Sometimes BackerKit screws things up. And I recommend when you use BackerKit, for all you crowdfunders out there, go back to your original orders, because sometimes BackerKit misses add-ons that people order, and you ship what you thought you were supposed to ship and you miss an item. And that's not good for you guys, because that means you have to spend more money to ship another item out. So, or refund part of the money to the customer. And that, either way, that's not really what you want to do. So recommend that in the future. And again, that's not AJ's fault. That's BackerKit issues. Another thing I might mention with BackerKit is when they do the surveys, I've run across 3 of them recently where they wanted me to update on BackerKit, make sure I had my address right and all that stuff, and answer questions. And I answered them like multiple times, and it wouldn't go through, like 4 or 5 times. So again, if BackerKit's a really cool program. It's a nice tool to have, but be sure if you're going to use BackerKit to back up your BackerKit usage for, even though it's a nice tool that makes it simplistic, you do have to go back and double check yourself. It's just the smartest thing to do. Okay, let's get back to looking at this cool art. Again, she's taking her friend, her little brother, so to speak, down basically to an arcade type thing. And she's having a flashback while she's driving in the car, and she's bored driving the car because And that's kind of the issue on that, you know. But it's really cool. And then again, here's in the arcade, and she's kind of like bored out of her mind. Uh, and she realizes that she's being, you know, kind of a stick in the mud. And because to her, it's like, this isn't even close to the exhilaration of being a fire pilot. And so, she's trying to be nice to her friend and starts playing laser tag with him. Um, and he was like, well, let's go to the Star Pilot Museum. Well, she's like, no, because she doesn't want to be reminded, because she's like a war hero and they'll have displays, about her and stuff. And a couple of other things that, again, would remind her of her past. That really she doesn't want to experience that. So she takes him to somewhere to eat instead, and that's where she gets in the bar fight with the other guys. But it is what it is, and it's like I said, very nicely drawn. Hoskinson does a nice job on the artwork. The coloring is very well done. I really have no complaints. The only mistake in the book was they made an error on the credits page. Let me get the book out here. As you can see, it says Barrisone on the cover. The interior cover credit says Barrisone without the E. And that's, well, I asked AJ what the situation was, and it was just a simple mistake that had unfortunately happened. And, I hope that the colors forgives them on that. Things happen like that, unfortunately. I don't know what to tell you. I've done books where I've made mistakes and misspelled words or misspelled stuff, or even had words missing out of a dialogue that I thought was there. And other people had read it and didn't catch it. 4 or 5 other reviewers didn't catch it before I put it to print. So, it happens. So I hope Daniela's forgiving. Okay. Our next book is USAGI YOJIMBO, Dragon Bellows Conspiracy, #1 for $3.99. Publishers IDW Publishing. Writer illustrator Dan Sakai, with colors by Rhonda Pattison and a cover by David Peterson. This was released on June 30th, 2021. What it's about. Genosuke, the Rhinoceros Ronin, is naturally tracking down the blind criminal swords pig, Zato Ino, who by now has a gigantic bounty on his head. The young Lord Yorinuki has tasked Tomo, that's Usagi's female friend, with investigating one of his neighbors, Lord Tamakuro, whom he believes is engaged in some sort of underhanded plot. While enjoying Tamakuro's hospitality, Tomo sneaks through the fortress and uncovers even more than Noriyuki suspected. In fact, he's planning on an insurrection against Noriyuki. But in this act, she surprises a Nico clan ninja, and she kills him in the ensuing fight. The sound of this battle, of course, alerts Tamakuro guards, and she fights her way through a horde of enemies to escape, or nearly escape, as she is caught when her horse is cut out from under her. As Tomo is held captive and led back at Tamakuro as a prisoner, Usagi sees them on the road, and they kind of like almost run him over on the road, more or less. And then he realizes that Tomo isn't there, and he's like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? That's my friend. I must find out what's going on. This is a reprint story of a classic Usagi YOJIMBO story. It's in color for the first time. This is considered one of the classic storylines of the overall series, often cited as a fan favorite. Clearly, all four characters, Usagi, Tomoe, Jin, and Zato Ino, will end up at the Tamakuro Fortress and end up teaming together to stop Tamakuro's plans. Even though we know that's what's going to happen, Sakai tells it all well enough that it doesn't matter. You enjoy the ride. As per usual, Usagi receives the highest recommendation, recommended for ages 10 and up, rating 5 stars. And this is Jen talking about looking for Zato Ino. Zato is at a hut shelter. There's some other people that are supposed to be wanderers. And of course, they're really bounty hunters looking for him. And he realizes that. So he pretends to be asleep, and they pretend to be asleep, and things progress from there. Later on, near the end of the book, of course, here comes the writers of the Yamakurdo clan there, and he almost gets run over, and they hit him with mud and everything. And then he sees Tomoe being held captive and rode back on horse. And of course, he's like, whatever's going on, this ain't right. I've got to help her. And that's pretty much how the story ends for this issue. But the artwork is beautiful as usual, and well done. Storytelling. And Pop Culture says, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Pop. And that is pretty much our reviews for this time. But we do have to let you know what I got this week. So, at the comic shop, I got Clans of Bellari #1 from Aftershock Comics. Out of Body #2, also from Aftershock Comics, written by Peter Milligan, art by Ava De La Cruz. Art by Inaki Miranda, and I think it's the colors by Ava De La Cruz. Darn it. Yes. From DC, he says he picked up, Pop says he picked up Clans of Bellari as well. That's cool. Batman, The Adventures Continue, Season 2, number 2. This is the story about the Owl clan or whatever. Green Lantern #4. Again, featuring the new Green Lanterns, Teen Lantern, and Joe Moline. From Dark Horse, we got Beasts of Burden, #4. This is the Occupy Territory, #4. I think this is the last issue. If it's not the last issue, it's the next to the last issue of the story arc. Jenny Zero, #3, from Dark Horse. Chained to the Grave, #5, which is the last issue of this story. And I did already get #4, but I hadn't reviewed #4. I told you I'd wait until I got this one and review both of them together next week. So that's what I'm going to do. And lastly, we got Deep Beyond number 6 from Image Comics. That's what I got from the comic shop. Now, I was supposed to get another book, but it didn't arrive, called After the Rain, which I talked about briefly last episode, I believe. So hopefully it'll be in like by Friday, but we'll see. Also, had to stop by the library to pick up some things, mostly videos and some prose books. But in terms of comics, people say I don't read Marvel ever and don't give Marvel any opportunities. So, okay, I got Werewolf by Night. This is the one that was written by Taboo, or co-written by Taboo of the what music group is he part of? I can't remember. I have to look it up. Black Eyed Peas. That's what I was trying to think of. So he's the co-writer on this, and I'm not exactly sure who he. Let's see, Taboo and B. Earl, whoever B. Earl is. Scott Eaton's the penciler. Scott Eaton's a decent penciler, should be well drawn. Scott Hinton's a good inker. I don't see any reason why that won't be a decent product. As far as that goes. There's another story in here that's drawn by Jeffrey Berege. I think that's the guy who does the other story. I'm not sure. But there's some interesting stuff in the back as well. Apparently, they show the breakdowns from B. Earl of what they're wanting per page and from the artists and stuff, the thumbnails. So I'll have to scan those in or something when I review this. This will be fun. But actually, this isn't. When I say I laugh, I don't think I'm laughing at it because it looks so basic. I do this myself. I've done it this simplistically to get a point across to people. So I'm not at all teasing B. Earl or Taboo for doing it that way. There's also some nice scat chart here from Scott Eaton in the back for some of the character designs. So should be pretty cool. That'll be interesting to look at, and I'll certainly give it a shot. So that'll be another book I review on Monday. Now, tomorrow I was supposed to have multiple guests. Things happened. Some of them are in Florida. As you know, there's a hurricane situation with Hurricane Elsa, and they're not going to be available most likely. So we're skipping that. And the other artist, writer-artist, was booked elsewhere to promote his series. He may be on next week. He might not. We'll see. Now, that kind of leaves me sort of in the lurch, but maybe not. Tomorrow, I might just decide to do just a straight-up live draw session with maybe another artist or something earlier in the day rather than the 9 p.m. Roundtable show. We'll see. As for Friday, I guess I went to the library, and some of the stuff I got, if I have enough time to watch all this stuff between now and Friday, I got season 1 of Wolf Blood, which was a teenage werewolf adventure series that supposedly aired on Disney Channel. I don't remember ever airing on Disney Channel, because if it did, I must have missed it, because I would have watched it if it was on Disney Channel. But maybe it wasn't on Disney Channel. Maybe it was on Disney Plus or Disney XD, which I didn't get. If it was on Disney XD, I couldn't watch it. The other one here is the Originals, which is the precursor series to Legacies, which I already reviewed. So I figured I'd go ahead and see the storyline that led into the Legacies. I'd at least try it. I'm not sure if the whole series is here, though. There's 5 discs, but in the back it says empty. So I'm wondering if there's a 6th disc and if I'm going to end up not having the whole series to watch, but we'll see. I'll have to do a little quick check on that when I get a chance. But so that's what I'll watch as well, probably tonight and into tomorrow, and get that ready for Friday. And of course, that makes the theme horror for Friday evening at 9 p.m. So that's what we're going to do this week as far as that goes. What time am I learning towards streaming tomorrow? Well, I'm not exactly sure just yet. It'll probably be in the afternoon, but not exactly certain yet, because I'm waiting to hear back from my father's new pulmonologist. He wants him to start coming for rehab treatments, and I know what next week's schedule is, but every week is different, and I don't know if he has to go back this week or not. But that changes everything for how I do things starting next week. He's got afternoon appointments on Monday, Wednesday, and I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. And it's like every week they're going to figure out his scheduling. So I got to go week to week on this. But depending on how long it takes him to do his rehab, it'll delay when I can air. Like normally I air this in the afternoons on Monday or Wednesday. I didn't today because we had to do the rehab, and that took an hour and a half. So that right there, killed me. And since we were out all day doing that, we ate out. That killed another hour. So you figure I usually run around 4:30 to 5, 3:30 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon on Wednesdays. And today I didn't start until after 6. So there you go. That's kind of why I don't know what for sure, but hopefully I'll know by later tonight, and I'll have a time posted for tomorrow by before midnight tonight. But that's what's going on with things like that right now. Picked up a Canto one-shot. Have I read it? I'm sure I did. What's the title of it? Because I don't. I'm trying to remember which one is a one-shot. There's so many different Canto stories. Let's see. Oh, Canto and the Clockwork Fairies one shot. That came out in July. Yeah, that should be okay. That's just fine. I think it does a pretty decent job. Let me check here if I can. Well, the easier way to do it on my own computer rather than on Google. When did that come out? 2020. Oh, okay. It came out last year. I can't look it up. All right. On my computer. Yeah, it's fine. Um, yeah, the Clockwood Fairy was a decent one shot. It'll give you a good idea of what he's about and what the story is about for that point in the story. Um, it'll give you at least a good introduction to it. Let's see. It's kind of like it bridges the story between the first miniseries and the second story arc, but it won't hurt you to read it. You'll get an idea of what he's about and what his character is and stuff from it. So it should be pretty decent enough as far as that goes. Do you have any other questions, Pop? Yeah, I mean, well, of course you'll give it a read. You got it already. You might as well read it. You bought it. Yeah, I think it's a fairly enjoyable series. Like I said, it's kind of a bridge story between If I Only Had a Heart and whichever I can't remember what the second storyline is called now off the top of my head, but it's a nice story. I mean, basically, it's part Wizard of Oz and part Dante's Inferno in a way, but um, it's a nice series. Yes, Zucker is a good artist on it. Um, Not that the stuff that I recently reviewed that was another um, I'm trying to bridge story. Um, Not that the art wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as Zucker's, in my opinion. And for some reason, there's the monster. I know you always want to see where he's at. um, Stray Dogs. That's an Image book, right? I'm not sure. Um, I don't. It's not that the book is bad or anything. It's just I can't afford to get everything. Um, Basically, um, yeah, that. Yeah, I just it just didn't click for me. I guess. I might get it when it's a trade collection. I don't know because the trade collection is not coming out until September. So I'll probably look for the trade in September. Because that'll be like $16.99, $17. And if you figure the typical comic is $4.99 and it's 5 issues, well, if it's $3.99 times 4 is 20, and I can get the trade for 17, I'm saving $3. That's kind of my logic there, if I get it. Yep. Oh, he left. He didn't like being put on camera. Either that or he heard thunder. That's another thing. This weekend, even though I've got stuff scheduled, according to the news, the bad weather is headed right for Colombia, the path of the hurricane. So everything's kind of in flux depending on what the weather is as well. So I thought I'd give you guys a head up on that. Do I get any discount at my LCS? Yes, I get a 10 to 15% discount depending on what it is. And Monster Friend says, "Hail Raven, hope I'm doing well." Yeah, I'm doing okay. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. As I was saying to your brother, Pop Culture, tomorrow will probably be a live draw at some point in the afternoon, and Friday will be reviewing the originals TV series for season and Wolfblood season 1 under horror TV, teen horror TV shows, I guess. And I'll also try and do another live draw on Saturday as well. But again, like I say, that has to do with weather and other things as well. So hopefully everything will be relatively decent and we can be functioning. But who knows what's going on with that hurricane situation. So all I know is we're getting weather warnings on our news locally. So I've mentioned them before. In fact, I probably should mention again, Scratch and Spin Records and Comics and Memorabilia. This Friday, tomorrow, or no, this Friday, they're doing a Black Widow movie event at the local theater. So you might want to, if you live in the Columbia area, Scratch and Spin, look them up online and call them up and see if they've got any more tickets left. Mr. Trent says he has a commission for me. Okay, cool. Let me know. I'll see what's going on with that. I'm a little bit behind on things. I need to get some art done that I'm like weeks late on, unfortunately. I just keep getting sidetracked with something else. Basically, yeah. It's a record store and video store. They added, and then they added comics 5 or 6 years ago, I guess. And they got pop figures and toys and other stuff as well. But it's more of the records to me. But they've gotten pretty decent. About maybe a third of the space in the building is comics now. It is and it isn't. It's rather a mess. If you've got enough space for it and you have enough ways to set up everything so that it's not all on top of each other, it can work. But they got so much stuff in there that it's just crazy. most of the time I have to ask them where stuff is because I can't find it. Um, you know, or I have to special order something and say, well, we got that in. Well, if you've got it in, go find it, and I'll pick it up later. But um, it's they're not the only store that's done that around here. We've had several of them. We had Punk Monkey Comics, that was a record store that carried comics. Um, we had another store that was more record store that started to carry comics as well. And I'm not against that by any means. Um, it seems to me that more of the record stores are more willing to be supportive of independence than traditional comic shops. Whether that's because they have more people coming in for records that they could promote indie comics to, or whatever, I don't know. Yep, yep, that's true. And not just the vinyl stuff, but just um, their own CDs, their own, you know, um, everything. You know, these days. I mean, people are still selling cassettes and 8 tracks. I was like, where is this coming from? But they actually get that stuff. At least they do it scratch and spin. Um, so, you know, that's kind of a weird thing. But, you know, that's what's been going on with that. But like I said, they're going to do a Black Widow special event showing. So if you're in the Columbia area, give Eric Woodard a call over there at Scratch and Spin and see if they've got anything left open. For tickets, I don't know if they do or don't. They invited me to be a guest artist for it, but it was such late notice that I didn't have time to make a poster and get to a printer and get it all done. They only set it up like Monday. Normally they give us like a 2-week notice and we have time to do it, but this didn't have time this go around. So that's the way it is. Ooh, I bet not. Wow. Any kind of soundtrack from Studio Ghibli would not be cheap, whether it's vinyl or CD. I wouldn't think, because you have to special order those. nobody, virtually nobody carries that stuff. Of course, they don't carry a lot of stuff. Uh, I'm sitting around going, how do I get these artists for my father for his birthday this weekend? And I had to special order everything online and get it mailed to me for him because you couldn't get them in stores at all. So, and that's country and bluegrass, and not something as obscure, shall we say, as Studio Ghibli soundtrack. So it's kind of crazy, but that's a kind of the same situation in music these days as with comics. Yes, hello. Uh, you want to come up here? Come on, they want to see you. Come on. No, no, they can't see me. Come on. Come on. Come here, you little monster. Here he is. There's the monster. Yeah, look at the camera, dum dum. And it's not like he needs to eat because I fed him before the show. Yeah, it could be. Very, very, very possible. I think the problem with Kitty right now is we're starting to get some of the rain that we're expecting to get for the next 2 days, and he gets kind of anxious when it gets rainy and stormy. So I think that's what he wants. He just wants to be comforted. But But other than that, yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week with, like I said, my dad's got his new rehab stuff he's got to get done. So we'll see how that goes. And that's pretty much it for the night, folks. I need to go ahead and start getting these videos watched so I can review them for Friday. And tomorrow, sometime later tonight, I'll find out for sure what time I'll be running the live draw, barring weather permitting. I'm guessing it'll probably start around 2 or 3 in the afternoon and go until like 6 or 7, but we'll see. And if I do that tomorrow, the character will be the Death Note demon, Ryuk or Ryuk. That's what I'll probably end up doing next. So, because I haven't gotten to that one yet. You gonna get that on my lap? No. Ooh, that's out of my price range. I totally understand why you want it, but that's definitely out of my price range. But I'm getting a warning here, so I will get into hopefully the episode binge and other things tonight. But thank you for watching, and if you guys have any other questions later watching, you can contact me at Lewis.BrightRaven on Facebook, at LewisBrightRaven2 on Twitter, deviantart.com/BrightRavens, where you can see some of my other artwork. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven on YouTube and Facebook, but the replay is on YouTube. If you have questions, email me at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com, or like Monster Fan, you have a commission that you want to talk about, you can email me there. And if I don't get back to you through that address, you can always try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. Mondays is our comics news and reviews. Wednesdays is what did you get this week. Thursday nights is usually roundtable talk with guests. As I said earlier, my guests, some of them are in Florida. They're not going to be available due to the hurricane situation. They have other concerns. And another person that I was talking to, unfortunately, has another podcast or other obligations that they're unavailable this week. They'll try to be here next week. So I will do the live draw earlier tomorrow, weather permitting. And then Friday, 9 p.m., will be horror genre night. And again, we'll hopefully review the original season 1 and First Blood season, or Wolf Blood season 1 on that night. And then Saturday, we'll be back to live draw again. So, and Saturday live draws are usually in the afternoons, early afternoon, say 12 or 1 till like 4 or 5, but we'll see what goes on. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow, hopefully, weather permitting. Have a good day.